Hey y'all, so today we're going to be building a frozen Elsa wreath. I found this ribbon at Walmart and I just kind of wanted to go with it. So I bought all kinds of random crap and we're going to throw it together. It's a good time. I used a 12-inch frame that I got from Walmart, but you can buy them at the Dollar Tree too. I'm going to put a pipe cleaner on the two outside rings all the way on the outside, and then one pipe cleaner between the two middle rings all the way around the inside. So you'll just see me doing that here. Y'all ain't got to listen to me talk the whole time. I'll keep my trap shut, but you know how it goes. And I did speed parts of this video up, so you ain't forced to watch me do all of it. So that's that. We got all of the pipe cleaners attached around our wreath. Now we're going to go to cutting our material. I know I jumped straight into it here, but I am cutting each of my pieces at right about 16 inches. It just gives me just enough material to be able to create the shape I want to create. As you can see, I did run out of the roll there. I was just using the remnants of a roll from another wreath. And these I'm actually going to cut all at 18 inches just because it is a thinner material and I want just that little bit extra. We're going to cut 12 pieces of each material because we do have 12 pipe cleaners on our wreath. Alright, so we got our material cut and we're going to go around the wreath and actually just put a little dab of glue behind the ones that aren't at an intersection just to kind of secure them on there. Once that's dry, we can flip our wreath over and get started. What we're actually going to do here is we're going to start with our white material, which is what I want as my base material. And you're going to hold it with your curl edge up and you're going to fold these over on top of each other, kind of to make like a tri-fold, almost like a poster board, except you're going to overlap your edges by an inch or two. You just want to make sure you have enough material that you can gather it without them coming undone on each other. And then you'll end up with a little poofy bow looking thing like this. So I'm just going to take that bow and hold it with my cut edges on the bottom and then bring my tie up between the two edges and just give it 2 or 3 good twists to make sure it's secured on there. So I'm just doing a little bit of adjusting here and fluffing out. You know, that's completely up to you. If you like the way it looks, you don't have to mess with it. I'm going to mess with it a little bit just to give it that exact shape that I want to. And then I'm going to go around my wreath and I'm actually going to open up all of my outside pipe cleaners just so that when I'm ready to stick my little bow in there, I don't have to worry about trying to open them up with one hand. And it makes it easier for me if I actually start on the outside row first and then go on to the inside row, but there's really no matter to it. You can start on the inside and go out whatever you want. So here I'm going to just fold them over each other. A little bit of 2-inch fold over each other, make sure that that's nice and centered, and then I'm going to start gathering from the bottom, just holding it with the top. You can see I actually readjusted a few times because I just don't like the way that it was gathering. And then just gather that material up, and I like to drag the top down toward it a little bit just to give it that bow shape on the top. That way you're just not all gathering to the top, because then sometimes your tops are a little bit smaller. But that's her. So I'm going to do one more for you before I speed this video up to get around the loop. And then we'll get back into it. So you're just going to, like I said, fold it over. Make sure it's nice and straight. Fold that other side over it. Make sure there's about an inch or 2 of overlap. And then start your scrunching at the bottom. Just bring it up to your top hand. And then bring your top hand down to it to make your little bow flower. there. So I'm going to do the outside row and then come back to you. Alright, I actually got ahead of myself. I forgot I was recording a video and I attached my first one. But we're just going to continue around that circle, open up all of our ties so we don't have to worry about getting caught on them. And then we'll continue on with our second inside loop. Now, these on the inside, your overlap can actually be a little bit bigger if you're more comfortable with it, because it is on the inside of your wreath. So if these poofs come out a little bit smaller than the outside poofs, it's not going to make a difference. It is okay. And we'll just attach her in here just like we did with our first outer layer. Give her one or two good twists just to make sure she's secured in there nicely and not going to pull out. And that's it. Alright, so now we're starting on our blue material, and we're actually going to do kind of the same fold. It just won't look exactly the same. You're going to try fold it there, leave an inch or two of a little bit of an overlap, make sure that's nice and centered, and scrunch it up. And that is going to give you a bow shape. Nice and cute, right? I'm actually going to readjust that a little bit because I want my fold over to be a little bit thicker, just so that bow has a little bit more body to it. And you're just going to give that 2 or 3 really good twists just to make sure that you lock all of your mesh onto your wreath frame. So once again, fold it over again, give yourself a good approximately 2-inch overfold, and then just scrunch it up into each other, and you get these cute little tulle bows that you can attach. Alright, so that is that. We're going to get all of these attached and come back. Alright, here we are. Everything is nice and attached. We got the pretty white and the blue going. I think this is going to be a wonderful frozen wreath. Everything looks all neat and tidy on the back. And we are ready to get started with our ribbon. Now, your ribbon is completely up to you. Obviously, I want something to match my pre-selected frozen ribbon we're basing this wreath off of. I'm going to get out my cut mat and get ready to pick out some ribbon. Now, I will say I was way too indecisive about my colors for this wreath, and I did have my husband's help, so that took me a little bit longer than it should have. Still trying to decide ribbon. I really could not make up my mind here on what combination of blues or white I wanted to use, but we finally got there. Alright, so we are going to cut 12 pieces of each of our ribbon that we chose to use, and we're going to cut these at approximately 8 inches long, so that if you were to pinch them in the middle, you'd have about 4 inches that come out on each side. So we're going to cut all of our ribbon and get that ready to go. Here I switched to scissors because this ribbon just did not like my rotary cutter at all. All right, now we are going to cut all of our ribbon tails so that they have a nice pretty cut edge. There is two ways you can do this: dovetail, which is my personal preference, or you can just cut across the entire length of the ribbon at like a 45 and just give you those sharp edges. But I am going to cut a dovetail, so you'll fold your ribbon in half and cut from the folded edge outside to the wired edge. And we're just going to complete that for all of our ribbon to achieve that dovetail look. All right, now we are going to start assembling. Oh, just kidding. I have one more to cut. I had to show you finishing off my ribbon cuts. Look at that, nice and pretty. All of our ribbons are cut and stacked and organized over there. We're getting ready to finish out our wreath. All right, now we are going to start assembling our ribbon bundles and getting ready to attach them to the wreath and get this finished up. So I am going to start off with my widest ribbon on the base for each of our ribbon bundles. And I actually alternated between this dark blue sparkly material and the silver being on top of each other. So you'll see me switch back and forth between those two being on top of each other. And then I will put the frozen ribbon directly across the two, and then we'll gather them all together here in a second. So I'm actually using my mat as a guide, just kind of for the angle of the ribbons where I want to place them. So I'm going to create an X with these two over the base, and then I'm going to get that frozen ribbon and lay it right on top. And then I'm going to crinkle up from the bottom and just continue to gather. Pinch everything in the middle, go to an open tie where you want to start at, and you're just going to pull that tie up between the two sides and give it a nice tight 2 or 3 twists to lock it onto there. And look at that, when you pull your hands away, your ribbon is already fanned out and in that gorgeous shape that we look for on our wreaths. So we're just going to get another one, and you'll see me here where I alternate. I'll do the silver on the bottom this time, and then the dark blue sparkly on top. And the Elsa ribbon. We're gonna pinch and gather right through the middle. Hold it. Go to your next open tie. Just kind of decide where you want to place it. And give her 2 or 3 really good tight twists to secure your ribbons in there. And look at that. So we're going to do one more wide ribbon with the dark blue, the silver, and the frozen ribbon. Pinch and gather and take it to your next open tie. And then I'm actually just going to go ahead and trim the ties off of the ones that I've already attached the ribbon to. And I'll just make sure that they're twisted together nicely and then kind of fold them back underneath each other because we're not going to be using those ties again. Alright, so we're going to get the rest of these knocked out. And we are down to our last set. So let's finish it off with big ribbon. Where was I at? Blue. Silver. And our frozen ribbon. Pinch and gather. And we'll get her twisted onto there. And look at that. We need to go through and finish cutting off the rest of our ties and getting those tucked underneath. And while you're doing this is just when you'll do any final adjustments, any moving the bows or ribbon or anything that you want to do just to achieve that look that you want for your wreath. And we're done. Just do any kind of final attachments you want. And from here, you can add lights to the back of it or add a big bow if you want. I really like the look of this wreath without a bow, so I think we're gonna leave it without a large bow. However, I would love to find some sort of frozen sign to stick in the middle of it. Let me know your opinions. Thanks, guys.